All righty, and looks like we are live broadcasting. Hello, Becky. How are you doing
Hi.
today?
Well, I don't know. It's a sunny Wednesday here. I think I'm doing okay. Quarantine craziness, right?
Yeah, definitely getting a little bit stir crazy, even though it's been beautiful out there. It gets a little intimidating to go outside. So,
Yes.
this last week, let's see, we've got people joining right now, so we'll give them a little time before we jump all the way in. Hi, everyone! It's so great to have you all here. We are thrilled to be able to do some do-it-yourself cat toys and environmental enrichment with you today. But yeah, environmental enrichment after a week of quarantine so far. I mean, whew, I don't know how for you it's pretty rough right now in our area. We've been given that shelter and home, stay at home area.
Yeah.
So we're pretty locked down. How's it looking for you? I know you're a little bit further out.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, what we're seeing is a lot of our independent cities are declaring state of emergency and asking people to go on lockdown kind of over the statewide. We haven't gotten there yet, but we are kind of expecting it to probably be this week for us too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how are all your pets doing with you inside at home? Are they getting a little stressed out by seeing you more than normal?
Well, so I work from home most of the time when I'm not traveling. So they're pretty stoked. Honestly, as far as I know, I guess I give myself a lot of credit there. But I think they are. They seem to be. They pile in my office. And they've seemed to make the best of the time. I certainly enjoy the fact that I get to be home with, my pets. I really enjoyed watching all the social media posts of people who maybe aren't as acquainted with working from home, nor are their pets. And for us, it's funny, like we have a dedicated working space, right? We have an office, but I've seen so many people who are trying to make do at their kitchen table and cats are marching across. And it's just been a lot of it's been a lot of fun for me to watch, honestly.
Oh, that is great.
What about you?
Oh, well, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. I do some working from home, so that is been a little bit of an easier transition. But it's still a change when I don't get to choose to work at home.
So
When
true.
I'm forced to. Now, we've got a couple minutes now in, and so welcome everyone to Cats and Coffee. This is episode number two. Episode number two. This is of course environmental enrichment and do-it-yourself cat toys.
I'm
So
excited.
I am too. I've got my toilet paper rolls ready. I hope everyone kind of came prepared. Now we're going to talk about ours and about ours and show you how to make these basic little ones, and then also talk about how many people have sent us way better ones than what we're doing
We
today.
yeah, we we are about to be really, really outshone. I hope you're ready for that. But
Uh,
honestly, I was impressed with how creative our audience is.
mhm.
And I'm like thinking my cats would love a lot of the toys that they got to see, that I got to see from all of our social media when we had a call to action. You guys really showed up.
Yeah, so check out our Facebook or Instagram. We'll be posting some more pictures after this, and then of course after we do all this and you make your cat toys, we would love to see more videos and pictures of your cats playing with the toys and really how you're increasing their environmental enrichment in these times. So
Yep.
all right, so rolling into it, one of the things we've already kind of talked about, you mentioned it with people working from home and on the kitchen table and cats kind of walking around. When we start to think about cats and environmental enrichment, like where do we really even start with this? This conversation it can feel like we can go lots of different ways with it, but I know you talk a lot of people about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I feel like when it comes to cats and enrichment, one of the things to remember is no two cats are the same. All cats kind of enjoy, there are some baseline things we like to provide for all cats all the time, but there's also particulars, and our cats enjoy different types of toys, different textures, different types of prey drive, be it, ground prey or air prey.
Hmm.
So it's fun to remember that cats have a variety of tastes and that their tastes actually sometimes change. A lot of times they'll kind of get sick of it. They'll realize that that toy is dead, they've killed it, and they want something new to play with. So I'm always into experimenting with different cat toys in different ways because I honestly never know what my cat's going to like from day to day.
Hmm. Yeah, and so when we get a cat to start to interact with a toy, what are some ways that you like to introduce these things into an environment?
So for me, actually, this, and I don't know, my cats, I don't know, I think they love it, but personally, they, I like to buy the big variety pack and then like explode it in their cat space. And then I like to set up, this is probably creepy, my camera, and then I watch them play and interact, right? Because you really get to see at night when you're not awake, their real instincts come out and which toys they engage with the most. I
Hmm.
got some really fun video of my cat playing with one of his toys that we'll probably share on our social media. Just like yesterday, I was kind of creeping on him with the camera, and he was playing with his yarn toy, didn't know I was watching. So I kind of like explode them into the area and see what they like the most. But again, it depends if it's a feeder toy or a treat toy or something that I'm using for fulfilling an enrichment or a hunting need. I'm going to introduce it differently than if it's just something for them to have fun and recreation with. Usually it's either throwing it around or tossing it around and making sure they see it and then sitting back and watching.
Perfect. Yeah. And you mentioned the hunting need. You mentioned these needs that we have. And it's so interesting the amount of different kind of quote unquote needs that cats really do have, that when we still think that in many ways they were never truly kind of domesticated like many of our domestic animals were. And so they've got a lot of these like leftover evolutionary needs that we can help fill. And so kind of when you start to break down these different categories of needs, what do you really start to think about in just kind of overall basic terms?
Well, I think, for our cats, it's a lot of different needs based on some of the, cat types that they trace back to. But
Hmm.
you're absolutely right. Our cats, as they sort of domesticated themselves, where they were like, oh, well, you guys attract food because you have food around. So we'll be here to clean it up and you can worship us. That's what we're here for. I mean, we definitely know that there is a prey and hunting instinct for cats. So it really hasn't gone away. They want to hunt. They want to, I mean, from the day they can move, they're down on the ground, right? There's nothing cuter than a kitten. Like, I don't know why I want to do this, but I feel the need to stalk your feet and attack them. Um, it's in them. It's in them from day one. So absolutely want to look at the things our cats naturally seem to enjoy, whether it's height, hunting, stalking, pouncing. Watch what they do and sort of be keen to that, because it's really what your cat finds to be their strongest drive.
Perfect. Yeah, and uh, there are a lot of different drives and a lot of different ways to kind of fill those needs for those drives. And like today we're going to do a couple different little very, very basic toys that we can look at and things like that. And if you have don't feel limited by us. If you've got more tubes than we use today, go ahead and keep on using those and really help find those different ways that uh, they get in. So we've got a little bit more, about 5 more minutes of chatting, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on our projects soon.
So what do we need for our projects? What kind of things do we want to make sure we have together?
Well, for our very basic ones, I'm just going to be using on the very basic ones some toilet paper rolls. I've got 2 of them. Now I know you've got some of those as well. You've got even paper towel rolls.
I'm fully
So
stocked.
anything fully stocked, anything that is cardboard based, we are prepped and ready to use it. And then of course some scissors to go ahead and help get those all cut in different ways. Now, as for keeping those together, um, you have a couple different options for keeping those together. What do you have on hand? Do you have any glue or staples on hand? Some people use those, whether it's attaching feathers or Elmer's glue. That non-toxic Elmer's glue is great.
Yeah, if I was going to be sticking mine together in that way, I would definitely go with Elmer's glue. I do have some string, so
Perfect.
I'm gonna tie mine because my cats tend to be more ground prey driven, and
Okay.
so I'm gonna want to pull my toys along the ground. Also found it to just be pretty, and we want pretty toys when it's all said and done. Am I wrong? Um, I'm also going to be including treats. We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored, so I'll go with very generic. We're going to be including some treats that motivate my cat to help engage them with the new toys and learn why they're fun, and that they want to be playing with them. So we're going to include some treats as well for my cats.
Okay, yeah, and then, you know, things can be filled with treats or catnip or kind of really whatever helps your cat enjoy the toys on there. So those are the things. If you do use something like staples or something that's harder, generally, you know, with most of these toys, with pretty much all these toys, a lot of times, like especially homemade ones, we want to make sure that we have them under supervised for a long time to make sure that cats don't do anything like get those strings and eat them or anything like that. So use them under supervision and bring them out and really have that time to interact with your cat.
Yep, always.
Now, when we think about interacting and playing with our cat, how long do we think that'll last? You know, are we going to play for minutes, hours, days, weeks?
So it depends on your cat for sure. But one thing I always talk about in coaching is to set realistic expectations for cats. Cats tend to enjoy play in short, frequent bursts. In fact, they enjoy everything but napping in short, frequent bursts. So honestly, I think that on average, we see 2 to 5 minutes as a pretty good play session for cats every couple hours. Now that we're home during the day, for the most part, we can use this time to sort of orient ourselves to what time of day our cats are most active, and sort of be using that time to maybe take a break, stretch our legs, and engage with our cats.
Okay. Well, you know, I think I'm going to take a while to make these, so I think we should go ahead and get started.
So do we want
Now,
to see
if
what
y'all
we're
do
making first?
Yeah. Well, hold on one second. If y'all do have any questions, other questions about environmental enrichments, how to play with your cat, go ahead and start dropping those. And as we make our toys, we'll go ahead and keep answering those. Put them in the chat. If you're on Zoom, you can either put them in the chat or Q&A, Facebook, straight in the chat itself, and we'll go from there as we keep making.
Sure, right. And full disclosure, we didn't invent these, so we want to give credit where credit's due. We had the pleasure of watching, this is our job, guys, hours of YouTube videos, and just kind of hunting down some of the easy, fun things we felt you could do with cardboard. We picked cardboard because it's safe. If your cat pulls a piece off of it, it's not going to harm them. We want to take it away if they do, but it's not going to hurt them. And also because we think this is a great time to be reusing and recycling and not leaving your house for new cat toys. So a great time to be creative. So the ones that we pulled, I'm proud of mine. So we are going to be making that to this,
turn into that.
Before and after. And then we're also going to make some really quick and easy treat balls. Oh, see, they dispense the treats as your cat plays with them. So we're going to make a couple of these. And we may make a treat pouch if we get to 3.
Oh, I think we might have time. Let's keep on.
Yeah.
I think we will. All right.
Let's do it.
Step one, before and after. We had our before and after, very simple before and after. Now, this one is about as simple as it looks, but the frilly ends really help us to roll this treat around and get cats to interact. Now, this is a very, very simple thing. We can just start to make little frays. So if we make a cut, you know, do about, I would say about a quarter to half inch apart, so we get a good sized little fray there. So you can see I made 2 cuts. I'm going to try and do this a little better for the camera right here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And we try and make these cuts all about the same length so that we've got a good little frilly, standard frilly from there. Oh my goodness. So
well, you were talking. I get the benefit to concentrate.
Yes. I know mine is a little bigger than I had intention for. It's not near as nice looking as Miss Beckie's over there.
I had practice, guys.
You had practice?
That's how I spent my morning.
So after we do that, we make all those cuts, we can start to bend these little flakes and these petals out, if we will, almost like a little flower, so that we get, as you can see, mine are not the same size, but I'm sure y'all's are, and much better than mine. And then we out, and so that gives us kind of 1/2 of this frilly end. It'll go ahead and turn in, as we do the other half, into what Becky has from here. And so how do you like to play, how do your cats like to play with this toy?
Well, so I have 2 cats, and they're different as can be. And so I have one that's like all hunter, and he's, you know, a stalker. He likes to do the like grab it and then do the back leg kill shots. You know, and then I have another who's kind of a lady for the most part when she plays with things, but she truly enjoys getting a toy in her mouth, usually about 4 seconds after I fall asleep. and screaming at the top of her lungs that she has found this toy and that she's proud of this toy and that she can't wait to show me in the morning when I wake up, or why not now if I just go ahead and wake up.
Well, that is great. Now, were you attaching any string to this one?
It's happening right now.
Perfect, perfect.
So I watched the video and there's a couple different ways we can do this. So there was some that just tied the string around the middle just to kind of make it more enticing to kitties, give them something maybe to pick it up on and carry it by. And then there was the option to sort of tie around one of these loops that we've created or punch a hole in it and then use this as a pulley toy. So that's the way I'm going to use it because I think my cats will enjoy it a little bit better that way. But you know, it's either way you do it. And I think that an important thing to do is just know what your cat enjoys and how your cat likes to play. Yeah.
And this will be a great way to kind of explore and find that with all these different types that you can make from little rolls. And so there we have it. I finished the other half end of mine, and now
I think you undersold yours there, Dr. Chris. I think you did a really good job.
Well, you know, I think I'd give myself a 6 out of 10 here. I don't have any fancy string to attach, but this is a good start and a good base that we can really start to look through. Now, how did you make your treat dispenser?
Okay, so the treat dispenser is actually really, you think this one was easy, which the hardest part of this one so far has been tying my knot, but I've got it. And so we're ready to go on my end, which I think my cats are actually really going to like this. It's, I'm Eastern, so this is nap time in my house. So I'm going to let this dangle and see if I can entice anybody as they wake up. But right now everybody's kind of chilling out. So this one's actually really easy. And all we had to do was take and cut small little circles out of our roll. So that's why I actually use the paper towel, because I felt like I had more practice space that I would be able to cut more circles from. So we want to take the roll and you can pretty much flatten it out. And you're going to do as even, I think, as you can slices out of this. I really only needed...
How thick are these slices?
So I am going to tell you, maybe, is that
okay, so about a finger width thick.
I was going to say, yeah, right about as wide as my thumb. That's probably what, like a ½ inch to an inch? Yeah, probably about a ½ inch. Yeah. And for these, I needed 1, 2, 3 or 4. You really don't need too many.
Okay.
And they're just going to feed together inside of each other. And then we just sort of give it a little squeeze to make the circle, the ball kind of puff up.
Okay.
And you can put your treats inside. You could also use like a jingle ball or something else, depending on what your cat likes. You just want to be really careful if you do that, of course, that you are paying attention to if it were to come out. This is where we saw some people using Elmer's glue, and we did see a couple people use a staple. I would hesitate on the staple a little bit just because, you and I have the experience of like removing things like that from pet stomachs. But Elmer's glue is safe if you want to use that. But mine was holding together pretty well just like this. And what's the worst if it comes apart, they get all their treats? It's actually the little kitty piñata, right?
It's perfect. Perfect. Now mine's working best with about 3 in there as well. Okay. So if you cut them a little thicker, 3 works great. And if they're a little thinner, go ahead and use all 4 of them.
Perfect.
But I've got a little ball right here, and it can put little treats and little enticements in there.
Look how great that is.
Now it kind of goes along the same lines. You could, if you also really wanted to, poke a hole through the top 3, tie a little string right on here, and then it provides that way that you can do ground prey or air prey, with the same one. Now, when we think about this, we're interacting with our cats a lot. After this happens, is there something we can do, say we start going back to work or not at home as much? Is there something that we can do to encourage that enrichment still?
Yeah, I think that's such a good question, right? Because we're going to get our cats and our pets accustomed to us being home. We're going to be accustomed to being home and getting a little playtime and just kind of like that serotonin of engaging with our cats and enjoying our day. So the cool thing is, in my opinion, is that there are more and more fun technology and AI and engagement toys coming out, and even, you know, maybe things for us such as cameras that we can drop a little treat from and call our cat over to us so they can see us during the day, or I guess we can see them during the day. So I mean, I think that there are a lot of ways that we can do that if we know that our cat is going to want to be playing and be engaged. The other thing I think will be important is just being cognizant of the fact that your cat wants to play, and you feel good when you play with your cat. So even when we do have to leave and go back to work and we're not working from home, just making the time when we come home to set aside to really pay attention to engage with our pets, not kind of fall back into the same old habits just because things go back to normal, kind of to remember what we benefit from with this time and the human animal bond.
Yeah, that's, that is a great thing to think about. We will, cats do love to sleep many hours of the day.
Yeah.
And those short bursts, we can still give a lot of those short bursts in our time at home.
Yep.
Now, I did mention that we have, seen other we'll say other videos or other options that were way more better, like way more complicated than ours. And I'm going to go ahead and share some of those.
Do it. They were so great.
So we've got a lot, like from Barbara Judd, makes chair hammocks. And you can see this, right? Can't you, Becky?
I can see it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now Gary has made a fantastic kitty condo. So this is a great way to use.
This is amazing.
Yeah, right. It's less a condo and more of a castle.
Yes.
So lots of these being built out that, using these old boxes. I know some of us are moving more towards having things shipped in as opposed to going out and purchasing them. So that does mean more cardboard boxes coming to our homes. And so if you do have extra cardboard boxes, being able to understand after you
leverage that, right?
That your cat has some great time and some opportunities to explore. So you can cut out holes, make designs, make mazes, whatever you'd like to do. And if you do have a fantastic, or even, whatever you make, just let us know, show us some pictures. We'd love to see pictures of that and your cat. And then we also have some fantastic, these are just great. These are crocheted toys for cats to hunt and cats to play with on there.
How creative. I would love to be able to crochet in general to do that, but I love how creative these owners are in making their cat toys.
They are really just so fantastic. This one to me looks like a little eyeball, almost a little eye on a stick there. So it's just that nice replication of Hunt. And so it may be that your cat likes certain colors as well, or like certain textures. And so look at that for their different toys. And then of course the last ones that we can always do, or we can look at, we can see these different toys that were made with strings and feathers, just to help with kind of that air prey ideals that we think about. Now,
those ones are amazing too. Look at how they've done both there, and they've got some great fishing toys that look like they're pretty simple, just maybe made out of some scrap pieces of felt.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, extra pieces of fabric, extra pieces of string. Many people have this. We have this kind of running around, whether it's an old shirt, anything can really kind of start to be repurposed and help made into a pouch. And then of course, the last one, we hear a lot about kickers, and of kickers. And what is a kicker to you? What is a cat kicker to you?
So it took me a while to figure this one out, but I'm thinking socks. Am I right?
They are. So like socks that typically have a little bit of catnip inside. So some sort of fabric. So they've been made out of, I've seen them made out of tube socks, or you can make them out of scraps of fabric like @Sil Torres did on Instagram. And that, it really helps them interact. And then sometimes they get real excited and try and kill shot it. So that's part of that kicker thing on there, is that it really helps them get excited and do that back kick.
Yeah, and this might be a good time to try planting some of your own catnip at home. There's actually a lot of different varieties. It's a fun plant to I found out to grow, and it grows pretty well. Might be a fun project at home, but just tying an end, right? So you just tie a knot in your sock, is that right? So you feel the end and just tie it off, and it's right there. You've got a little catnip toy.
Yeah, Yeah, right there. And you can put a little bit of cotton in it, some little filler. You may put like an extra sock or two in there just so it has a little bit more volume and it's not just catnip. But yeah,
Smart.
that's really it. So you've already got socks, just stuff them inside another, tied in with a little catnip inside, and you've got yourself a little toy.
I think something like that too would be a really great toy for when we do go back to work and we are leaving our cats alone during the day, because they're going to self-engage with something that is scent driven like catnip for them. And so this is a toy that, you know, we don't have to be around to get them started with. They're probably going to seek it out on their own and play while we're gone.
All right, now we're starting to run a little towards our end. You know, we're here until for about 5 more minutes. And so you mentioned a treat bag.
Okay, so this one is really cute. It's actually super easy. I don't know if treat bag is the right word for it, but anyway, this is how he's going to end up. And it's really, truly as easy as just taking your toilet paper roll and folding in the sides. Okay, so you're going to ultimately end up with a little kitty that looks like this. Well, this is the kind of sad part, okay? We've got to cut the holes in it. So no. I probably shouldn't have drawn the face on first. But so you can do a couple things. You can either, this looks horrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, kitty. You can either cut little holes into the toy so that the treats will fall out. So you can just make a little hole. Or you can kind of count on the fact that your cat will probably pull this apart. My cats probably won't. So I'm just going to open it up, drop the treats in, fold it right back up. So this one's reusable. And they're going to be able to roll this around. And as they do, kind of like with the ball, we'll have the treats sort of falling out. You can poke a couple holes in there, however you want to do it. This would also work really, really well with catnip, I think, if you want. So this one I thought was fun, and he ultimately ended up just really cute.
And of course, the face does not come on toilet paper rolls. I think they should include that on all toilet paper rolls from now on, just to have a cat face on the very end.
I mean, we might be changing the world here.
And so, you know, let's see. And do you have, you know, we talked a little bit about catnip itself. When choosing a catnip, kind of where do you go for? What do you look at?
Well, so honestly, at the sake of sounding kind of hippy dippy, of course, I want to look for something organic. But again, it's worth trying a couple different types of catnip out to find out what your cat responds to and likes the most. Like I said, I learned that there's actually a lot of different kinds. You can, of course, just like everything else wonderful, find it on the internet, which, you know, we would stick to that today. I don't know a lot about the differences in them. Dr. Chris, what do you know about the different like types of catnip, and what do you know about them?
Well, there are a large variety of catnip out there. We kind of think of catnip as a singular term, but it is a plant that has lots of kind of little different species in it. And we do see cats have kind of a wide range of reactions to them. Some of our cats really like one specific species, or some cats are just catnip lovers in general. Now, that is one of the things that we are super interested in. It is one of the things we ask on our survey. We are looking at how with our genetics, how that matches up with our catnip users. So if you are a catnip user, you have taken the swab test and haven't filled out our phenotype survey, please do that. We would love to be able to see that and really kind of help learn which cats are more genetically inclined to catnip or not. So, but yeah.
That's really kind of interesting too. Yeah, it's to see what correlations there are between the different types and who seems to enjoy it the most. I know in my house, I have one cat that really enjoys it, and one that kind of, she's fiercely private and well-mannered. She likes to stay in control. So she doesn't indulge.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yes, she's certainly on that more austere side.
Oh yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you again, Becky, so much for your time. Folks, you know, you've had some great questions, and like I say, we will be answering a lot of these questions about, you know, show us more pictures, follow up with pictures on Facebook. We'll be reposting this here and on YouTube. And then also, you know, we'll be reaching out for some of our surveys. You know, I did mention the survey. We do have a question about that. We do have a phenotype survey, a survey that we ask our folks to complete who's done it. We usually have asked by email, and then it's also available through a pop-up or kind of an announcement bar on your login after you log in your account. So if you haven't seen it yet, go log back into your account and pull up. You'll be able to see at the top where you can start that survey. So thank you everyone for your time. We'll be back next week for another round of Cats and Coffee. And then we'll go ahead and approach that. I think next week we were thinking about doing whiskers and how cats see the world.
Whiskers is it. That's what we're going to talk about. I'm excited about this talk. There's so much unknown about whiskers.
Ooh, it's very mysterious. All right. Now, if you do have any other topics you all want to hear about, please leave them in the comments. We'll add those and we'll get talking about those as well. So, all right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much for coming. Becky, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. And I want to see these videos. I'm seeing Shannon out there. Mr. Toby's playing. I want to see these videos. I can't wait to see your kitties playing with the toys.
Right. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye.